or your bones.
Okay.
And so I know that I have to take this medication for the next 5 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I pray. And I claim cancer free. I know I'm not supposed to for 5 years, but I claim cancer free.
No, we claim cancer free.
We claim cancer free,
Yes.
and I'm still in the battle. And so with that comes PTSD. With
Yes.
that comes all those other emotional things where people think, oh, she looks good now. Oh, she got that new body. She got that new this. Oh, I know she feel good, but she doesn't. Behind the scenes, if my arm hurts, I'm like, oh God, it's in my bones. If my head hurts, oh, and it's in my brain.
You just get paranoid.
And
Okay.
so it's a process. So I'm in therapy, and doing things like this help me. It helps me to talk about it. It helps me to help another person. And I had a friend who was going through treatment, and I was able to help her.
Okay.
And so those things help me. Help other people.
But I want to say a funny moment for the three of us. So you talked about me being at the hospital with you. So that was very interesting for Carri and I because
I had to call you and say what hospital was
so
not crowded.
Carri, so Carri's calling me to find out what hospital's not crowded because I am at the hospital with my dad, Noel.
Yeah.
And so we both end up in the emergency room, literally some doors down from each other. So I'm in there with Noel, Carri is in with you, and then you all are both admitted into the hospital, and you two are on the same wing, one on one end of the hall. So Carri and I would switch. I would call Carri, okay, can you check on Noel for me? And she's like, okay. And then I'm like, then she'll call me and say, well, can you check with Kelli for me? So literally both of us are running up and down the hallways, checking on each other. And I know the staff was like, okay, this is crazy. Like, what is really going on here? But I thought that was very funny. But it also showed support.
And God, right? How God works.
Yes.
Because none of that stuff is a coincidence, right?
Right.
So, God works in mysterious ways, and I don't question him. I do not question him.
And you're right, because I think Carri had to leave. So I was with you when they took you into CT.
Yeah.
Right, because I think by that time, Noel was being put into his room. I had a moment that I could, no, I have to go with her.
Yeah.
Yes. And I walked in, and of course, I think the radiology tech was like, wasn't you just in here?
Right.
Was someone else like, what is happening here? I'm like, this is family day at the emergency room. So.
And so, having that support, I can't imagine going through this alone. And I would walk into the chemo, and I would see people there by themselves with their bags.
Yes.
I can't imagine going through that alone. This first day, ended up being a 12-hour day. I had a reaction. My heart stopped, actually. I went into cardiac arrest.
That was the first one.
Yes, I went into cardiac arrest with the first chemo treatment.
Okay.
And watching my best friend there, and the fear that came over her face, and then seeing her cry, and she was like, Kelli, I was just looking at you, and you were dying. And everyone rushed into the room, and they were so quick, and they got me back, and they got the stuff out of my system, and my oncologist came down, and she's like, okay, we're going to try this a different way. We're going to go a different route. But if that doesn't work, we're going to figure out a whole new treatment. But they slowed it down. And so with chemo, if they give you something, one of them too fast, it can counteract something else. I don't know.
Okay.
And so that's what happened. So they had to slow it down. And so my chemo, instead of taking 2 or 3 hours, it would take 4 or 5 hours.
Okay.
And so we figured it out. And so we got a balance. And I would go to chemo every 6 weeks? Yeah, and I had 6 treatments. And then, my surgery. And my sister was right there with me through my surgery, helping me.
Yes, working.
I stayed with my best friend and her mom for a few days, and then I came home with my sister. And like she said, my dad flew out, helped me.
But Daddy was there for the surgery.
Yeah. And then on the tail end, when I was better, my son came out.
Okay.
And so I never wanted him to see me struggling, and so I didn't have my hair yet,
Mhm.
but I didn't look sick, and so
That's one
the
thing
part.
you never
You
look
never
sick.
look sick.
You
Yeah,
never look sick.
I can agree to that. You never
You
look
never
sick.
look sick.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'll say that
Just I can say pain. We can see
Yes,
the pain.
pain.
We can see
Yeah.
that you're uncomfortable.
With the outside,
But as far as you looking, no,
yeah.
no.
Yeah. And chemo is different now because they pump you full of steroids. A lot of women gain weight on chemo now instead
Okay.
of losing the weight.
Oh.
So I had a different outcome because I also have Crohn's disease. So a lot of the medication they were trying to give me didn't work.
Okay, adverse reactions.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I did get sick. I did lose some weight,
Okay.
but but it's not as bad as it used to be. Let's say that.
Okay.
And
so-
she wouldn't eat ginger. She would never take the
nah,
ginger.
Ginger is horrible to me now.
I hated ginger.
When you're sick and you have cancer, everyone wants to give you ginger. Take ginger tea and ginger chews and ginger ale, and I can't stand ginger anymore. Like,
And my mother is a big thing for ginger chews.
yeah.
Yes, because I think at the Amish market up the street they sell the ginger chews.
Yes.
You can get those. Yes.
Everyone was giving me ginger chews.
Okay,
I'm like,
okay.
no, I don't even like the word ginger now.
Right.
But, it's everyone trying to help. So I understand.
Mhm.
I understand.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
And so you also have a cancer walk that you're going to do. It's coming up, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tavia.
Register.
Yes. Our girlfriend Tavia, our sister friend, her community is doing a walk with Susan G. Coleman. So I registered for that. I'm raising money for that on my Facebook page. So yeah, just trying to just be an advocate for someone else. I joined the Tiger Lily Foundation,
Okay.
which
Okay.
was started by a Black woman who was young, in her 30s, who was diagnosed with, I believe it was HER2 positive or triple negative. But whichever it was, she advocated for the drugs that saved my life. And so she went before Congress. She was in the the trials for the clinical trials for those drugs.
Okay.
And so those drugs saved her life. And so she started this foundation because so many young Black women are being diagnosed with cancer, stage 4 cancer. And, mine was stage 3. It had metastasized to the lymph nodes, but thank God not beyond that because
Right.
it would have been stage 4.
Right.
But it's too many young women, and it has to be a reason why. And so I wanted to join the foundation because I wanted to help advocate for Black women who die 40% more than any other woman when diagnosed with breast cancer. And so that's why we have to be advocates for ourselves.
We do.
And that's why I picked my doctors. That's why I picked the female doctors that I had. That's why I picked the Black female doctors that I had. Because they wanted to save me.
Right.
They look like me and they knew where I came from and they wanted to help me.
Okay.
And so that's what I want to do for someone else. And so that's part of my advocacy. Just getting my story out, telling other people, what I went through and can I help you? People who don't have anyone, can I help you? Can I go through treatment with you? And so I want to be there for someone else who's going through this.
And advocating, anyway, in healthcare, you need someone. There are a lot of people who do not have, as you say, people to advocate for them. People who would just, if the doctor says I need to take this particular medicine, you need someone that's going to say, well, why do I have to take this medicine? What is this medication going to do? And what is going to happen? And that's really, you really, really need someone to advocate. You need to know who can you talk to, where can you go to have someone to be in your corner? Because again, you said that you felt like you had to go to someone who looked like you, who knew you.
Yes.
And we have heard stories We won't discuss those. We've heard stories that, somebody would just give you a pill and basically you just throw you off to the wayside. But in our community, we need to really, really think of a way to get out there to help people and teach them how to advocate either for themselves or have someone to advocate for them. So anything that a doctor tells you or says to you, you should always ask questions.
Yes.
Not question them in which say you don't know what you're doing or I don't trust it, but question what the process is.
Talk to me like
Right.
I didn't take the classes.
Exactly.
Right?
In other words, yes, I say talk because I even said with my father, talk to me like I'm a dummy.
Yeah.
Because I need you to break it down so I can understand. And I know we're not supposed to Google things, but yes, sometimes I'm on Google or sometimes, and yes, I'm in the medical field. So I will ask some of my, counterparts, okay, what does this mean? How do you go about this? Because it's very interesting.
It is.
And you need that person to fight for you because if you were in a situation in which you were, in a sense, situation that you were very ill, if you did not have Carri to sit there and be like, no, we're going to the hospital. No, we're going to do this. And to question what's going on, then yes, you could have been thrown off to the wayside. And unfortunately, this may not be a conversation that you and I are having today.
Right.
So I thank God for Carri. I thank God for the relationship that you have with your sister. And I thank God for our sister circle that we actually just really, really look out for each because there's a lot. There's a lot of people who don't.
And in that same vein, I would suggest that anybody who is diagnosed with cancer, take someone with you.
Absolutely.
Because you don't hear.
You're not hearing.
I didn't hear. When I went to see the surgeon, my best friend Mia went with me, and she had paper and pencil, and I had questions. But the moment she told me I had stage 3 cancer, I didn't hear anything else.
Yeah.
All I heard was, oh, I'm going to die. Okay, this is how I die. And so all the other stuff she was saying, I didn't hear any of it. And Mia was writing stuff down. And Mia thought I was recording it too because she kind of got thrown off with the stage 3 too. Like that's not what we were expecting. And she was like, oh God, I thought you were recording it. She was like, I couldn't write down some of it because I was just so thrown off. But you have to have someone to go with you. You have to write down questions. And you have to just make them talk to you. I was good. The doctor I had, she was writing stuff down.
Yeah.
She wrote down, she drew pictures and showed me where this tumor was, and then it was another tumor, so she was showing me where that one was. And she said, look, we're not going to just say this is what it is. We're going to send you back for all new scanning. And we're going to totally find out exactly what's happening. And sure enough, I had 2 separate tumors because they thought one of them was an auxiliary tumor, which means it broke off from the other tumor. But it was 2 separate tumors. But they were both the same kind of cancer. And so, but then they thought it was just 1 lymph node, but then they discovered it was 3. And it could be more. So that's why I had to have the surgery that I had. And the doctors don't tell you what to choose, right? That's the part, because I wanted someone to say, yes, have a double mastectomy, or no, have a lumpectomy. But they won't tell you. And so
they want you to make the decision.
They want you to make the decision. So I talked to people, I did the research, and I decided I'm going to do a double mastectomy. And the doctor seemed pleased with that. They really did. And my general practitioner, she was really pleased with it. And so I said, okay, that's what I'm going to do. But Carri will tell you, was it 2 or 3 days before the surgery? I had a complete meltdown. And I said, I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I was just so afraid. But, Carri's like, okay, well, what surgery do you want to do? But you have to do a surgery. Yeah. So figure out what surgery you want to do. And she's like, nobody's making you do anything. And so once I calmed myself down, I said, okay, I'm going to do it. I'll just do it.
And it worked out.
It did. It worked out. And thank God the chemo worked, right?
Yeah.
Because
if it didn't work, we'd be in another situation.
My initial treatment plan was chemo, surgery, radiation,
Okay.
more surgery. But it worked out that
She had that radiation.
I didn't have to have the radiation because the chemo
Worked.
did everything. It melted. It totally dissolved
It
the
burned everything.
tumors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
And so I didn't have to do the radiation. And so I did the chemo, I did surgery, and then I waited. They did expander, so I had to wait for about 5 months.
Okay. Okay.
And then I had my deep flap breast reconstruction where they take the fat out of my tummy and make some new boobies, and I was
And that's
just
where
so
this
happy.
new body came
And
from.
that's where the new body came from. And then, just afterwards, treating myself better, right? So I
Mhm.
exercise every day. I try to eat better, although this isn't better.
I'm sorry. Well, I mean, this is Red Velvet
But it's
Talk,
Red
so
Velvet
yes,
Talk,
we
so you
have
gotta
to have the Red Velvet cake. Yes.
And so, but just, really what I've learned from all this is just to have grace for myself,
Mhm.
and I don't have to do everything. I don't have to have the answer to everything.
Mhm.
I don't have to be everything to everybody,
Mhm.
but just show up for myself.
Yeah.
And
No,
so that's
no
what I'm doing.
stressing. No.
Yeah,
'Cause
because
stress
really,
causes
stress
a lot.
causes cancer, right? And it helps to feed cancer, and so you have to learn in life that job is going to replace you, because as I was going through breast cancer, a coworker of mine, young woman, died from colon cancer,
Okay.
and 2 weeks later they took a nameplate off of her door and someone else was sitting in there. I mean, and so much, it upset me so much because I wanted to give her nameplate to her mom and they just threw it out.
Okay.
And like but she was here. She was a person.
Right.
We loved her.
Right.
But
So
she's just replaceable.
Right, the immediate
And
replacement.
so at work, you are replaceable at work, but you are not replaceable at home.
Yes.
You're not replaceable to your family,
Right.
to your children. So those are the things that should be more important in your life.
Mhm.
And so for the job, they'll come and go, and they will replace you in an instant. But I cannot be replaced as my son's mother. I cannot be replaced as my sister, So those are the people that I focus on. Those are the things that I focus on. And not the stresses of a job and relationships and friendships and all those things, because all the other things are supposed to be easy, right?
Yes. And all those negative ties, unfortunately, you just have to
You have to cut
them
loose.
off.
Yeah.
Because if it has anything, if it's going to affect your peace,
Yeah.
your spirit, your walk with God,
Yeah.
it has to go.
It does.
It has to go because, as we all know, we have went over to the other side of the hill. We're in the 50 stage.
Right.
So, we're living a different life.
Yes.
We're looking at things differently.
Yes.
And I can honestly say, and I actually think I said to you over the weekend, I said, I love this 50. If I had known this then, I would have done this a long time ago.
Exactly.
Make me 50.
I wish
because
I was this smart.
Exactly.
I
I
think
think I'm feeling a little smarter.
Yeah, I feel smarter. I'm more.
I can say no.
Exactly.
Period.
Exactly.
Period.
Right. There is no rebuttals. Either like, you can just say what you want to say. Keep it
But
moving.
then when you
It's
say
okay.
it, people get like, I can't believe she said that.
Right.
But it's okay.
And
But
that's
it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
So, and I do have, and unfortunately I don't know, but I don't want to assume. So I had a patient, oh my God, she was fighting breast cancer as well. But I have never seen someone with such a energetic spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So when she would come in, I mean, she's all smiles, all laughs, and I remember her telling me, she says, "You know what, Erica?" She says, "The other day I just went to the airport and I bought a ticket and I went to Jamaica."
Y'all remember
She
you telling
said
me that.
because I needed to just go and
Yeah.
live and get away.
Yeah.
unfortunately, she did lose her battle. My last conversation with her was I was in Florida, and I want to say that was in July. And she told me on that day, either basically hospice.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, she lost her battle. And then speaking of cancer too, you all both know I lost a good friend of mine, big brother, I call him, John Noel. He lost his battle too. And again, he has an amazing amount of people who are with him. His circle is, oh my God, it is just, it is crazy huge. And we're going to, the Noel family and friends are really, really going to miss him. We're really going to miss him, But Kelli, I'm glad that you fought.
Yes.
You fought like hell.
Yeah.
You fought like hell. Yes.
I fought like hell, and I'm still fighting because
Yes.
it's the gift that keeps on giving. Like, over a year after my surgery, I developed lymphedema in my right arm, which is the cancer side. And so I'm in physical therapy now. And so it's a never ending cycle. It's the, like you say, it's a gift that keeps on giving, but that's okay. Because I'm gonna still fight. I'm still fight to be here. And just like you said, like, I woke up one morning over the summer and I said, I want to go see Beyonce. So I made a couple calls. No one could go. So I said, okay, well, I went by myself. Got my plane ticket, got my ticket to the concert, got my hotel, and I did it. And I flew out there, went to the concert, flew home. And it was the first time I felt brave. And I said, you know what? I can do this.
Right.
I deserve this because I did that. I fought that, so I deserve this. And there was a line in her song that said, you don't know how hard I had to fight to get here. And that's how I felt that. Because I fought to get here. I fought to get through, these last 2 years. And so I'm not taking anything for granted anymore. And I'm also not going to wait on anyone anymore. If I want to do it, I'm going to do it. And, through this whole process, I've learned that I like myself. And I like spending time with myself. So I'm okay to go to a restaurant by myself or to a movie or a concert or anywhere just because I like me and I think me deserves nice things and to see good, concerts and go to Italy when I feel like it and go to this place.
Well, honey, not everybody can go to Italy when they feel like it.
The only reason I go to Italy when I feel like it is my son is there.
Because I get the closest Italy I'm getting is, down at the National Harbor, get a room.
Maybe one day
it's a nice trip.
Pick up and go.
It's gonna go in the summer.
I'll never go back to Italy with this one.
Oh,
She does not do well on foreign soil. It doesn't have a beach connected.
I need a beach.
And you know what? But I have to agree with her because
especially in the summer. Because when it was hot.
Because I'm a water person too.
Yeah.
So that part I have to agree.
I found me a beach.
I don't like to be in hot weather unless I'm next to a body of water.
Yeah.
But we were in Italy. And then we went to France.
Okay.
France was nice. It was cooler.
It was okay. I didn't like the people.
People rude.
But Florence was absolutely
nice.
Lovely. And so,
Tuscany.
And so I enjoyed being there. I enjoyed being with my son. And even when I went to tell him I had cancer, I told him the first day I got there, we cried. And then by the time I got home, which was like 2 weeks later, people were calling me, are you okay? How was the trip? Is Cushion okay? How are you feeling? I'm like, why is everyone asking me how? I said, oh, shit, I have cancer. I forgot.
Because you were in a different,
I was in
different environment.
Space. I was taking care of my baby, even though my baby's a grown man. But I could be free of that, and I totally forgot. And so, but then it all came back. But that's okay because I had the strength I needed to fight because I knew who I was fighting for. And so that was one thing. Every time I felt like giving up, Carrie's like, you want to tell Christian? You want to tell Christian you giving up?
No, it's not that. I got to tell Christian. Well, I'm not telling him this.
So,
oh my gosh.
So we did it.
We did.
Good.
We did it. We're still in the fight.
You loving the cake? I did make it today.
It's good. It's fresh.
It is fresh. Yeah, Tavia and Lauren and Kim. Yeah, we'll bring you some later. I think I'll bring some. And then there's another crazy lady who asked for some cake. So I'm gonna bring you some too. You'll get a couple of slices of cake as well, which is my manager's mother. Yes, she wants cake.
But yeah, but definitely, sister circles are important, right?
They are.
They're necessary.
Very much so. Very much so.
And if you don't have one, find one.
Yeah.
If you don't have one, reach out.
Mm.
If you don't have one, contact the Tiger Lily Foundation. If you are a Black woman, young Black woman, under the age of 50 or even 50 and over, because I'm 53, reach out to the Tiger Lily Foundation. They help. They give you support. They give you advocacy. They give financial support.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what I learned at my first cancer treatment was $46,000. I instantly thought about all the people who don't have insurance.
Yeah.
And, what are they supposed to do? Choose to die? And I don't understand. In this country, I don't understand why people are dying.
And you know what? I remember you telling me that.
Mm-hmm.
And I came across another patient, and she was telling me about a good friend of hers. And that friend decided that they would not do cancer treatment simply because they had nothing to leave their children. Because the bills were so much, she opted to just live her life and not do it because she did not want to just leave and not leave her children. Because she knew that she would exhaust all of her savings
For the treatment.
for her treatments.
So she chooses to die. And you should not have to make that choice
Yes.
in this United States of America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just shouldn't. And it's just not right. And that's why I want to join, a foundation that will help. I want to make a difference in someone's life. I want to help someone through this. And whether it's raising money to help, cancer patients go through their treatment who can't, don't have insurance and can't afford it. Because even some people who do have insurance can't afford it, right?
Yes.
So I had good insurance. But even now, later on, after I finished all my treatments, I'm still being treated for the next 5 years. But now my insurance company is battling my doctors, which is Johns Hopkins. So they're in a battle. So now Johns Hopkins and all my doctors are out of network for me. But I'm going to pay it. I'm going to pay the difference to stay with my
Stay with your doctors.
But I can't afford to do that.
And
Someone
there's a lot
else
that cannot.
Yes, there are tons of people, millions of people who can't afford to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to advocate for those people. You shouldn't have to get subpar care just because you can't afford good care. Like, it should all be equal. No matter your income, it should all be equal.
Mm-hmm.
And so
It's different, like in other countries.
yeah,
Yes.
other countries have
They pay
free health.
They have
They
free
pay for
health.
healthcare.
They have free healthcare.
Yeah.
So
And I'm on a lot of support groups, so I see how that works. And so, yes, it's free, but a lot of it takes a long time, right? And so by the time they end up getting the treatment, their cancer is so far gone.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so there's ups and downs to each side, right?
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
goodness.
But I'll say join a support group. Online support groups help me. But also understand that, people complain about you're going to see things that are going to scare you online. You are. I was scared about the surgery.
And I would tell her, stop reading all that.
Yeah.
Let's just say Google.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's
But I
what
used to
my
do that
plastic
too.
surgeon said. Kelly, people really usually only go to the internet to complain. They don't go to the internet to tell all. So that's what I tried to do. I went to the internet and into my support groups, and I said, look, I had this doctor, and she is brilliant. and she talked to me and she explained everything to me and she told me how it was going to be. And when I say she's an artist, she cared about how I looked. And I've seen these women who had the same surgery I had, and they were butchered. And so finding the doctors and talking to your doctors and not just going off of recommendations from other people, you have to go and sit and talk and see their work. And she was an expert at this particular type of surgery.
Okay.
And so when I say, you know, my scars, they're my battle scars, but she did wonderful at hiding them.
She did.
But I love my scars. I do. It shows me my strength. Every time I look in the mirror, I see my strength.
Yes.
You know, and I look different, you know, and you know,
no, you look
we
gorgeous.
all look different.
You look gorgeous.
Thank you.
We all,
Thank
you're
you.
right. You're right, Carrie. We all look different.
But
Because we're aging like fine wine.
We are.
So when her doctor came out, when she had her surgery, she's like, she did great. Everything went well. And I told my dad I said, thank you for saving my sister. She said, no, she saved herself by doing the chemo. So I remember her telling me that. So it was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And even though, I don't know if I shared with you too, so you all know that Noel too had cancer 3 times.
Yeah.
And he actually won all 3 of those battles. He had renal cell carcinoma, just tumor in his colon, so basically colon cancer, and he had squamous cell carcinoma of his larynx. So because of him and because he has that cancer gene, you know, I have to be, you know, tested every 6 months. Well, you know, mammogram scans every 6 months because he carries that gene.
Yeah.
You know, and so does my daughter because he carried that gene.
Did y'all take the what's that test that you and I?
Well, we took the BRCA test.
Yes, I did the BRCA test and it came back fine.
Okay, good.
So
okay.
But there are
other
other
tests,
genes.
yes.
Yeah, there are other genetic tests.
Yes.
And so we did the BRCA and some other ones, and so we didn't have the mutation.
Okay.
And so that's good. And you know, my mother didn't have cancer, or my grandmother on my mother's side. And usually they say it comes from the mother's side. But my grandmother on my father's side died from breast cancer.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Okay. And the interesting thing, even with my family, I had 2 aunts on my grandmother's side, or 2 great aunts that did pass from breast cancer. But it's more relevant on my father's side. There's I have a lot of, you know, family members who have had cancer or fought through cancer or whatever. But it's very prevalent on that
I
side.
think it was just our we don't know anybody else, but just
no,
our
but our
grandmother.
dad had.
Well, Daddy had
what's it, prostate
prostate.
cancer.
Okay.
but he's good. He did his treatments.
But it did come back in a bone.
Okay.
But they did
The radiation.
targeted radiation, and they got it all. And actually, the second time I rang the bell, he and I rang it at the same day.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
The second time,
Okay.
because the kind of chemo I had, so I did the hard stuff for 6 months, but then I had to do 11 more cycles, 11 more months.
But it didn't make us sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Targeted,
And that was more for preventative
it
care.
targeted the
Okay.
HER2 positive genes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And so I had to do that for another year. And so I got to ring the bell again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And how
so,
did that moment make you feel?
Empowered, really, like, because the first time I rang the bell, I was happy, but I knew I was going to be sick 3 days later. So it was just like, okay, this is the last one. And it took us so long to get to that one because they had to keep postponing because I ended up in the hospital.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I finally got to ring that bell, I was so happy, but this final bell ringing, because I told them the first time, I said, I never want to see you guys again. And I didn't know. I guess I didn't listen. It was one of those things you need other people in the room for, right? So they were like, well, no, you'll be back. I am? They're like, yeah, you have to finish the hurt
Yeah, yes.
But it didn't make her sick.
Yeah, it didn't make me
Okay.
sick.
It just made her tired.
It's extremely
Just tired.
And so, that's what chemo does. It's like you sleep for 3 days, but then another side effect though after chemo, right, is not being able to sleep. And that was
that's
something
interesting.
Going through chemo, right?
Okay.
It's hard to keep your mind calm to go to sleep because you think I'm not gonna wake up.
Well,
and
I get that because you got right.
So I had that thing, and then I was able to sleep, and then all of a sudden I can't sleep anymore. It's like my mind is fighting. So I started thinking, oh, is it cancer again? Oh, is that what's happening to me? Because this is like when I was going through the chemo when I couldn't sleep. But it's your mind, it's PTSD. So, and that's why
the devil on one side, the angel on the other.
Yeah, and that's why I'm in
constantly
therapy.
talking.
Yeah. And so, talking to someone who says you're not crazy, that's normal, makes you feel better. So I am on medication to help me sleep. I'm on anxiety medication.
Okay.
Because you get scared.
So is it helping? Is it helping?
It is. It's helping.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I do want to say I do have pictures of you ringing the bell.
Oh.
Yes. I was able to put those up there. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I rang that bell twice. Once in, I think it was May of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then again in February of March of 2025. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I keep looking at them little cats running around.
Oh my gosh.
They're playing with each other.
And beyond that, I will say too, my cat. I had just gotten a cat, right before I got diagnosed, and I was like, "Oh, should I rehome the cat?" But my dad said it might give you something else to focus on, and it did.
Okay.
And he knew because when I went through the chemo stuff, he didn't bother me. But I knew when he jumped on that bed and jumped on me, I knew that morning I was going to be okay. Okay, I must be feeling good today because he knew before I knew that I was feeling better. And so when he would jump on me, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling better now. And sure enough, I would have a good day.
Okay.
So,
Whiskers.
Yeah.
Whiskers is what I call him. Whiskers.
Cleophas.
Right.
He's gone through several name changes because he is a bad cat. But I think he's starting to warm up to me. We're 2 years into this relationship.
So your boob party that you had, how did you feel about that? And I don't know if you all noticed, I do have a boob blanket behind us.
Yeah,
I didn't even notice it.
Yes, I have a boob blanket.
That was another thing because that was the first time I think I had been around anyone and I had just let my bald head out. And so that was one thing. There was so many people there. But it made me feel good, right? It made me feel loved to see all those people who were there. Some people, most of my sister's friends, her family,
Okay.
Yeah.
But they did come for me, right? And so that made me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And then walking around with my bald head, at first I was like, oh God. And then I saw the pictures and I kind of cringed a little. But I was like, you know what? That was just me. That was a moment. And it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Carri, let me ask you this. And I don't know, this kind of popped in my head, but how was it with Kaya in the house? Hearing and dealing with all this, on a child's level, because she's trying to accept the fact, her, in a sense, her mom is breaking down because of her sister, the sister is breaking down because of what she's going through. So how did Kaya adapt to?
I think she did good.
She did well. She was emotional, I think, when she saw my hair.
Yeah. I see more animals. Where did that come from?
Dogs are walking each other.
I'm sorry.
But anyway, I don't know, Kaya's been through a
lot.
She lost her sister. She lost her grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Her great-grandmother.
Her great-grandmother, her grandfather. And then I had to tell her about Kelli. She said she's going to be okay. I think kids, I I don't know. They just don't.
They bounce back.
They bounce back fast,
Yeah,
and that's what
okay.
she does. But she would check on her.
She would.
She would
Okay.
check. She would bring her stuff. Yeah.
And check on me.
Yeah.
And she would help me because when I was away, staying at my girlfriend's house,
She would help.
she would take care of my cat.
She take care
Okay.
of the.
So,
Yeah, she was good. She was strong. She's a strong girl.
Because we know
She's
there's
an Aquarius.
Okay, because we know, certain things like that could really, really have an effect on
it can.
It can.
a child.
And
you
it
know.
can, and she's not telling me, but she could be feeling some kind of way and just not showing it.
Okay.
But I think she did have a moment where she did cry.
She did, and I think it was like seeing it because I didn't look sick for a while, and then when I lost my hair,
Yeah.
and she was there when they cut my hair.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
she came
yeah,
to
she did the
And
salon.
she took a video because I had really long hair. I had showed what was down my back, so I cut my hair off really short before my first chemo, and Kaya was there.
Yeah.
And she cried with me when they were cutting my hair. And then within 2 weeks of having the first chemo, my hair started falling out.
Mm-hmm.
And what they don't tell you is it hurts when it comes out.
Really?
I guess because it's coming out at the root, but it hurts.
Oh, okay.
And I was actually, again, on the same weekend, same hotel with my girlfriend, when we woke up and it looked like a dog had shed in the bed all over this hotel, my hair. So I went in the shower and I washed it out, but it was like patches. And so finally, I just went back that week and got it shaved. And that was emotional. And I cried, but my hairdresser, she cried with me. But it was a woman at the salon who saw what was happening. And then the next week, she made me a blanket.
She
brought
did.
it up to the
She
salon.
did. Wow.
And,
Okay.
you know, because she had gone through her own battle. And her hair never came back. It triggered alopecia in her.
Oh, okay.
And that's what the drugs do. They trigger, like, different
Other
things.
things. Okay.
So when you lose all your hair, it's not guaranteed to come
They
back.
come back.
And so, but mine did. It came back, and it was spotty here and there, and then it came back mostly gray.
Okay.
So I decided, I'm just going to liberate myself and keep it short, and I threw a little bleach blonde in my hair, and
That's pretty.
it gave me a whole new outlook on life.
So what made you decide to, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and cut it off before we get started?
Because I knew it was going to come out, and I figured my long hair coming out would be more traumatic to me than short hair coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I said, well, not everyone loses their hair. And my doctor said, no, this chemo, you're going to lose your hair.
Okay.
And so I said, okay. And, I thought about cold capping because you can, you can pay $2,500 to cold cap, but it still comes out. And that's what they told me.
I think you had said something about the cold cap.
Yeah.
Because you also had a list of things that you needed.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
To help get you through this.
Yes.
So it was a cold cap and it was the things for your fingers, correct?
Yes, it's cold capping, but it's on for your hands and your feet to
Okay.
help with neuropathy.
Okay.
And I still ended up getting neuropathy, but not as bad. So that my fingertips and my toes are numb.
Okay.
And then sometimes they hurt. They have like these, it's like electrical feeling, in your hands and feet. But it's very mild, and it's because I had the ice packs on my hands and my feet when I was going through some of the and they tell you which chemo drug. I had to take 4 different chemo drugs,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll tell you, okay, put your cold capsule on for this one because that was the one that caused
The ones we
neuropathy.
would freeze and
Yeah.
Okay.
So we would freeze the stuff the night before
And take it to the hospital.
Take it to the hospital in a cooler, and then I would
Just
put
put
it
them on
on
and do a
my
treatment.
feet, my
Mhm.
booties, and my
okay.
hands.
Okay.
And so you'd have to, and then put your blanket on because you're cold during that treatment. But but it helped, and so it's not as bad as it could be.
Mhm.
So,
Okay. Okay.
but it's a gift. Cancer's
The gift keeps on
keeps
giving.
on giving, but that's okay, because I said, I'm built for this, and I said all the time, and I would go through this, and I would have rather it be me than her.
No. Let me tell you the story when I went to get my breast.
Oh yeah, you told
Okay.
me.
Girl. So I had to get my mammogram. And they was like, oh, we see a little something. Can you wait in the lobby? You know how they scare you on the road, your breast hanging out. You're like, oh my God, do I have cancer? So they called me back and she said, well, we see a little something. We think you're going to have to get a biopsy. I said, look, my sister got breast cancer. I don't have time to have cancer. Then I thought to myself, look, we're going to both be sitting there getting chemo together because I can't do this. So I had to go get my biopsy. Everything, and the way they do it.
Yeah.
The way they do it. But it didn't hurt. I went home. The doctor called me that night. He said, you're good. It was just, what's those things? Calcium.
Okay.
They saw
Calcium deposits.
So, but I still got to go every 6 months because I have that biopsy. They just want to keep watching that one breast.
And you can have fibrocystic breast as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And see, that's what they thought I had. And I've always had lumpy breasts, right?
Okay.
And that's
I've never had it.
See, I've always had lumpy breasts, but I've always had clear mammograms.
Okay.
And so it's weird, right? And so that's when I felt it, I'm like, hey, but it was so big. I mean,
yes,
and I felt it.
right.
I felt it.
It was so big.
And I was like, no, you got to get this done now.
But I was like, how could it be that big?
It's like a golf ball.
Months ago,
Well, I
had a clear mammogram.
Right. And I remember all of us being at the house that day, and you said Phil. So I don't know how we ended up having a boob touching party.
Yeah.
But we were
all feeling our
And
breath.
then I want to say it was Tavia who wasn't there. And then she was like, well, I didn't feel it. I'm like, oh, you want to feel it?
Oh, because you didn't get to touch it.
And but then another thing I did know when I got my new breast, well, I was taking everybody in another room. You want to see my breast?
Oh my gosh!
And so everybody I went to K-Bon's, my nephew's house.
Oh God!
And his wife said, "I want to see your breast." And K-Bon was like, "But I don't want to see him." So we went into another room. I said, "You want to see him?"
Okay.
Because her mom had the same
and then
thing.
even when I went to Colorado and I was showing everyone, my aunt said, "Well, I didn't see him." I was like, "Come on!"
Oh my God! So now we're flashing people.
Not daddy.
You want to see my new stomach, my new boobies? I'll show you.
Yeah, it was. Yes, it's just every time you go for a mammogram, I feel like it's scary now.
And see, now I don't have to, but I still have to have ultrasounds and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I go, December will be a year.
Okay. Okay.
And so I go, so it'll be 2 years from, well, it'll be 2 years from diagnosis.
Okay.
And 1 year from treatment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do they scan you again?
Yes, I get scans again.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was diagnosed. I found a tumor in November 2023. I got diagnosed December 5th, 2023. Started treatment in January 2024.
Yeah, it was snowing.
Yeah, snowing. They were trying to cancel it.
Yeah.
Didn't have
like,
insurance
no, going anyway.
approval.
Yeah.
Oh, I said, oh no, she's not leaving.
Mia
went with you.
Mia got on that phone with the insurance company and the hospital.
I was like, Kelly,
and she was going back and forth. She said, look, we'll be there and we're going to be there an hour early just so y'all can help get this stuff straight. And sure enough, the guy who was there that night came in that morning, came down to the room and said, we still have not gotten approval, but I'm on the phone. I'm getting it. Because Mia said, we are not leaving here without her getting her treatment.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, well, I'll pay for the first one and I'll just get reimbursed. He was like, no, you can't do that. And then when I saw how much it was, I was like, oh, I don't have that much credit. $46,000.
But again,
and I don't know if it was $46,000 because I had that incident.
Okay.
You know, which had everybody running into the room, but I don't, and they had to give me other drugs to counteract, and then so maybe that's why it was $46,000. But it's terrible.
But you had your advocates, you had you had your people ready to go.
Yes.
They were like, no, we're doing this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're doing it.
And so when I got home, I'm like, oh, I don't feel bad. So the next day we got up and we went to brunch, all of us. Mia, her family, they all went to brunch. I was still feeling good. I was like, no, I'm feeling good. I was taking my steroids. That third day, after those steroids are done, I was in a room. I was still at Mia's, and it was night. It was middle of the night. And I remember just sitting up because I just felt so like everything was caving in on me, and I was just sitting there rocking back and forth, crying. I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. How can I do this? And next thing I know, her mother walked through the door and just sat there and just held me. Okay. And I was like, oh, that's really, I needed a mother in that moment. And she was like, I'm here, I'm here. And I just cried on her shoulder. And she put me back to bed, and then the next day I'm, sick as a dog. I'm barely eating. She's trying to give me, water. Because they tell you stay hydrated.
It's hard.
But that's the stupidest thing. You can't.
Unless you got an IV.
Right.
And that's what she had to do.
I would always have to go back and
hydration.
Yeah.
Okay. So I remember your magnesium was off.
And that's why they kept her in the hospital because she couldn't.
Yeah.
Okay. Her heart. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And so it's a double-edged sword because the chemo can cause congestive heart failure. So you have all these other things that can cause.
Okay.
And so they have to watch your magnesium. They have to watch your potassium. And see, I didn't know all that. I didn't know.
So when you went to Fort Washington, when the guy came and said your potassium was, I was like, that's what it is. Yeah. So every time she gets sick,
her potassium
will go, magnesium will go down.
The magnesium. And so they were saying, stay hydrated. Oh, just drink.
You can't do that when you're feeling sick.
Stand the taste of water.
Yeah.
It was horrible. And then you drink the water with electrolytes and it tastes like pure salt.
Yeah.
And so I got an ice maker. And so then I'm just eating the ice.
Okay.
And then they were like, oh, eating ice is not good for you. I'm like, look. It's either the ice or nothing. So you got.
I wish I knew how to do an IV and give her hydration.
But even with throwing it off for 2 seconds, because if you have too much alcohol, it will throw off your magnesium and your potassium.
I didn't know that.
And so that's why you have to stay hydrated because it will definitely mess up your numbers with your potassium, your magnesium. And that's a lot of the reasons why people end up getting very ill because of that, and they're having to, go to the hospital, whatever, depending, because they're talking about poison, but.
And that's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, and that's why I say it's a double-edged sword because no matter your treatment options, right? You're still putting poison into your body.
Yes.
And so it is killing off those bad cells, but it's killing off the good cells too.
Yes.
And so your body takes time to
get adjusted.
Right. So I just had blood work the other day, and my blood work is still off.
Okay.
And so I'm still having to, I'm still the effects of chemo, which I stopped in February of this year or March. And so I'm still having the lingering effects of it. I'm borderline diabetic now. My cholesterol is borderline. So it affects all those things. So you got to try to eat right. Okay, beetroot. Okay. I'll put that in there.
We didn't say that out loud, but beetroot. I showed my doctor something with that.
Okay. I'm looking at it.
Yes.
And so I need to, I take all kinds of supplements and you have to watch that because some of the I can't take turmeric, which is good for my inflammation.
Yes,
but it counteracts with my chemo medication.
Okay.
Right. Can't have grapefruit or grapefruit juice, which is good for you, helping to lose weight. But it counteracts my medication, so I can't have grapefruit for 5 years, and that's awful.
But you can do lemon and lime, right?
I can do lemon and lime, but the funny thing is, grapefruit. I was taking that when I was doing the chemo, and I couldn't eat or drink. I sucked on a grapefruit. Oh, I felt so good. I was doing that, and I told my doctor.
But it has such a sour taste.
She said, but it really. because your taste buds are gone, like
It's
you
sweet.
needed something strong.
Strong
Okay.
and
And so
sour.
I was just, and it just gave me such relief.
Because I
And
can
then
see my mouth
told
now,
my
like,
doctor-
ugh. It's like eating the strongest Sour Patch ever. That's
but I
yeah.
loved it. And then I told my doctor, I'm having grapefruit. She's like, no, you can't have grapefruit with the chemo. I'm like, oh no, what can I do? You know, I was trying oranges, but nothing was.
She her taste.
Chocolate milkshakes from McDonald's were okay.
I mean, I didn't keep going to get her
Oh,
chocolate
God.
milkshake.
for a while, but then even that,
Slurpees.
yes, even that.
Well, you're still getting Slurpees.
I didn't get one the other day. I still didn't get one.
You know, but people tell you when you're going through it, so many people come and they have so many cures for you.
Yes.
And that
Everybody has
bothers
their
you
input.
too.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh no, you should do this. Oh, refrain from sugar. Oh, you know, this, that, and the third. And then the oncologist
Well, we can't
said
say that
there's
we eat
no
red velvet cake.
right. And then the oncologist said there's no link between sugar and cancer.
Really?
Good.
Well,
Then let's
but-
eat.
There is a link between alcohol, right?
And
but
cancer.
because alcohol turns into sugar, though.
I believe
So
that.
I don't know. You know,
Yeah,
I don't know.
Everything we eat.
Exactly.
It's killing
and
us.
that's the thing. I don't. And that's what the
It
doctors
is.
say.
I'm gonna say this cake is
And,
good.
you know,
I'm gonna
I even
continue to
got
eat
my
this.
doctor admitted that, you know, she didn't know if it was the birth control I had gotten on.
Or the Crohn's
The
medicine.
Crohn's medication.
Okay.
So I came off of everything. I came off the birth control, I came off the Crohn's
Because the
medication.
birth control hormones.
Right, hormones.
Yeah.
See, mine was fed by estrogen, was feeding. That's what my cancer was growing off of that estrogen.
See, I don't have any
and
of that.
so I had to get it off of the birth control. I
I
had
have a
to.
question.
I'm
So,
here to help.
Okay.
because I'm full menopause now.
Mhm.
I've been menopause, 4 years?
Okay.
So, Kelly, when they say the estrogen, do I have that in my body
You have
still?
estrogen, but it's not as
It's low.
much when you're in
Full menopause.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
so-
what
It
mine
drops.
was.
And so the funny
But
thing
you
is,
weren't.
I'm 53 and I'm still not in menopause,
She's
right? I'm
still-
in chemically induced menopause,
Okay.
but my blood work still shows that I'm not in menopause. So that's why I'm taking tamoxifen for 5 years.
Yeah.
But once I hit menopause, they switch my medication.
To what?
Okay.
I don't know. It's a different medication. One at least is on when you're in menopause, when you're not making as much estrogen. So, but I don't know. And that's so weird that I'm 53 and I'm still in menopause, but that's what fed my cancer.
Okay.
That estrogen.
Because when I turned 50, that's when all mine started.
Yeah.
I didn't have any more period. I had like little ones, but then they just stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And see, I was still having full on periods right until I started chemo.
Oh.
And,
Okay.
well, again, I got on the birth control to stop the
Yeah.
periods because my periods,
And I
I
think-
had fibroids.
How long were
really
you on the
bad
pill?
For over a year. Yeah, probably a couple years.
And the cancer was probably just forming in
Yeah.
her body.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they said the cancer I had was a fast growing, fast
Yeah.
spreading
Okay.
cancer, and so that's why they acted so quickly. With
Right.
mine.
And I think that was one of the things when I found out about it. I think that was one of the things I had mentioned to Carrie.
Mm.
I said, you know, and if I didn't, then I knew in the back of my head, I was like, okay, this is an aggressive one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
because they were moving quickly.
Right.
They did.
The fact, I mean, they got me in for my biopsy before I went to Italy because they wanted that done before I went to Italy. They wanted to know whether it was cancer or not. You know, they knew, he knew, but he needed to have the proof.
Yeah.
And so, and that was the strange thing too, because it was this man that I only ever met once
Mm-hmm.
calling me to tell me I had cancer. And so I remember I was at breakfast with a friend of mine and I was just like, oh, I went outside to take the call and I came back in and I was crying. And he was like, and I was like, yeah, it's cancer. And then he had to go outside because he started crying.
Okay.
And so we got through that, and yeah, and I had to go to. I was leaving for Italy like 3 days later to tell Christian.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
but you know, but we got through it and we're good. And, you know, again, it's still an ongoing battle. I'll be battling for the next 5 years. And that's why I say, I don't know if I have more than 5 years to live. I don't know. It's very humbling, pretty much knowing how you're going to die is very humbling. And so I'm not taking not one day for granted the next 5 years, so that when I can officially say I am cancer free and I made it.
Yeah.
And that's why we're going to a wine festival today.
Yeah.
To enjoy
And I'm
life.
living. Yeah,
Live,
I'm just living
enjoy
life.
life.
You know, and I'm going to New Orleans next week and for business, but I'm going to, you know, I'm gonna go eat some charbroiled oysters. I'm gonna walk 1.5 miles to my favorite restaurant in New Orleans because I'm about 1 mile from the hotel I'm staying at. But I'm putting my tennis shoes on and I'm going. And I'll be by myself. It's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm just gonna explore.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna say this real quick, and then we're gonna go. But I think it's Tracy Ellis Ross.
Did you watch
but I love her.
Did you watch it?
I did watch it, and I absolutely love it. I absolutely love
Solo
it.
travel is
And if you have not, please, please, and especially where we are in life now, just get up and just go.
Yeah.
Just get up and
that's
go.
the thing. Like I traveled to Europe by myself a few times. I mean, my son is there when I get there, but let's just
you
go.
traveling by yourself.
You're traveling by yourself. I want to go to an island by myself. Every time I try, Carrie, I say I want to go, and then it becomes a whole girls trip.
Okay.
But that's okay too.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, I'm sorry. We're all going. Yeah, I'm sorry.
But we need to do
one. Even though we'll say this real quick, how we almost died in Costa Rica, but we made it.
They almost died in Costa Rica.
We almost, but we made it.
But
we made it.
Literally.
But I want to.
You had sense.
I want to thank you both for coming on to Red Velvet Talks.
Thank you for doing this.
This is our first podcast.
Yes.
And I think this actually went pretty well.
I do too.
I hope that everyone likes and subscribes and of course order some Red Velvet cake.
Yes.
And again, ladies, we're on our way to the wine festival and we're bringing some Red Velvet cake. Love you all. Thanks again for coming into Red Velvet Talks.